How can you use technology to solve this problem? You can use Excel and you can use StackCrunch, but remember you need to show your work and you should pretend that you don't use this technology. You need to write on a paper step by step using formula and computing all of these operations. But you can verify this operation using Excel. When it's given any problem, you need to look at for this icon. Then when you click this icon, you can send this data either to StackCrunch or Excel. And let's send this data to Excel first. When we send this data to Excel, the first thing that we have to do here is verify if this actually is probability distribution. All probability are a number between 0 and 1, that is okay. And let's verify if the sum of all of this probability from here to here, close parenthesis, is equal 1. Then actually this is a probability distribution. Then let's compute the mean. How can we compute the mean? First of all, we need to create this column. We need to multiply each value times its corresponding probability. Then always we start in Excel any operation with the symbol equal. Then equal this value times its corresponding probability. Then we can copy, dragging from this corner, this formula in all of these cells. Then we already compute each value and its corresponding probability. If we sum this column, all of this product, the sum is equal the mean. Actually, we can copy this formula here because we have the sum of all of this column here. We can copy this formula also here and we will obtain the same result. To show your work in this point, let's go here. You need to verify first, obtain this value, and that is your work. Remember, that is your work. This is your work for the mean. Let's compute the variance. How can we obtain the variance? The formula for the variance is this one. Then let's create first one column to obtain all deviation respect to the mean. That is all deviation respect to the mean. Let's go to this column. In this column, let's obtain each value minus the mean. The mean is located here. That is the mean. Then let's start always with equal. The first value is 0 minus the mean, which is located here. But if we want to copy, actually 0 minus 1.49 is negative 1.49. If we want to copy this formula in all of these cells, we need to fix this cell because we are going to subtract 1.49 from all of this value. But we need to fix this cell with the dollar symbol, both for column and row. We already fixed this cell and now we can copy, dragging this cell in all of this, and we obtain all deviation respect to the mean. And after that, we need the square of all deviation. We can do it here in the same column, but I prefer to do this in another column. Then we have x minus the mean raised to the second power. Then equal, this is the deviation raised to the second power. We can copy this formula in all of these cells. We have all deviation square. Then we need to multiply all deviation square, and you can see in this formula, all deviation square time is corresponding probability. That is my last column. And then we need to multiply here. We need to multiply this times is corresponding probability. That is the formula that we are going to copy in this column. Let me minimize a little bit that we can see all values. Then let's start the formula with equal. Then we are going to multiply the deviation square time is corresponding probability. The probability is this one. And after that, we need to copy the formula in this cell in all of these cells here. And the last thing that we are going to do is sum this column. We can also copy this formula here, or we can write sum of all of this value until this point, enter. That is the sum. This is the variance. The variance is given by this formula, what we verify in Excel. But how can you show your work? You can use Excel and You can send a photo or a screenshot of this worksheet with your work to get extra credit. But your work is this one. Then how can you show your work? Let's erase all of this. And your work should be written on a paper in this way. You need to write your work in this way, and the variance is 0.86 and the standard deviation is the square root. Also, you can obtain the standard deviation here in this, that is the variance, and the standard deviation is equal the square root, that is the symbol for the square root of this value that we have here. That is the formula. That is the formula for a square root that is here. And we finish. Remember, the worksheet is an extra credit, but your work on a paper should be this part. It's very important. It's very important. And also you can obtain the same answer using a StatCrunch. How can you use a StatCrunch here? A StatCrunch could be used. Remember, you can send the data also to StatCrunch. If we send this data to StatCrunch, we click the icon and we send immediately all my data. Here in StatCrunch, you can go to Stat and you can go to Calculator. In Calculator Custom, you have to go to Custom. In Custom, you need to select where is located your data. Your data is located in the X column. That is your data, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's all possible value that the data can take. And in this case, this is a weighted mean. It's not a simple mean. The simple mean of this data is adding all of them and divided by 6 value, but we need a weighted mean. The weight in this case is given by the probability. That is the weight to obtain the mean of this variable. Then the weight should be located in this column, the probability. And let's compute, and that is the probability. You can observe that the mean is 1.49 and the variance was 0.86 is the square root of this one. The square root of the variance we obtained is exactly the same value, 93.27. And we can verify Chebyshev and empirical rule using also a StatCrunch, and in StatCrunch you can obtain the mean plus 2 standard deviation and minus 2 standard deviation. This interval is between 0 and 3. Then if you select between, you can enter here 0 and here 3 and you will obtain this percentage. 96% of all data is between 0 and 3 video. 96% of all customers rented between 0 and 3 videos. That fulfill the expectation of the empirical rule and Chebyshev rule. Empirical rule states that we expect between in this interval at 95% of all values, and Chebyshev state at least 75. Actually, 96 fulfilled with the condition that the percentage must be at least 75%. Remember, your work is this. You need to do that, and you must pretend that you don't use technology on your paper.